So I had somebody in my comments to this video that I'm about to replay here ask, like, could you explain what it is that you are doing? And I thought to myself, that's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? So that's what I'm going to do here. So to that one dude that asked, making the video here for you. So if anybody wants to watch this uh, game in its full without me commentating, I'll put the link below so you can watch that. So, okay, let's begin off here. The way that my squad plays the game is that we try to make it a team-oriented game, basically. This has totally nothing to do with the fact that our skill levels in the game are pretty low. So, yeah, we'll put that aside. But our game plan usually revolves around us being close together at the start in a not in a fixed formation, but close enough that we can support each other. I did a whole other video describing how a wingman should operate in an air realistic match that's practical, right? Not just LARPing, but in a way that can actually help you win the game and get more kills. I'll put another link to that video below as well. But yeah, start of our game plan is we go off to the side, usually the left side, we're in close proximity to each other, and we try swinging around the main furball and try hit the enemy from the rear and from behind. And this is what we've done here. So I'm the flight leader. So it's my job to get everybody into this position. So everyone else just follows me until we get to this point here where I'm about to start rolling the tape. So as you can see here, the furball is right there in the middle. We are approaching the furball from the enemy's back right quarter. So most of them can't actually see us because we've been flying really low. Usually that's the way you want to fly the 11.3 BR bracket. You want to fly low. This is to avoid most of the radars that most aircraft have. If you get full up tiered, you will face people with pulse Doppler, in which case you're going to have a few more problems. But with the Phantom, chances of you having a complete full up tier where more than half the enemy team has pulse Dopplers is kind of rare. It does happen, but yeah, that's the strategy that we have here. We fly in low from the side, get in from behind. So what you're gonna see here, what you're gonna see us do here is we're gonna pick targets. So we verbally have to communicate. So I'm gonna pick the J8B here. I picked the J8 because if he's fully spaded, he has 2 radar missiles, which are like really, really dangerous. I can't remember what they're called. I think the apsids, something like that. It's Chinese. So I pick out the J8 here. Flank, who's the closest guy to me, he's gonna pick out the J7D. It's a MiG-21 variant, still quite dangerous. The other guy that we should be prioritizing here is the 23. Now, I'm not too sure if Pick goes after him, but the thing about target prioritization here is that it's not only just the airframes, it's not only about the weapon systems that the enemy has on the airframes, but the positioning itself is also important. And honestly, positioning should be on par with your evaluation of how dangerous the enemy airframe and the weapon systems are. So in this case here, the MiG-23 is pretty much on the far side. We got the J8 and the J7, which is almost 2 to 3 kilometers closer to us. And you have that 21 on the far left there. It was almost 8 clicks out. So this all has to be factored in. So for me, the J8 here, compared to the MiG-23, is kind of on par in terms of their airframes and weapon systems as a threat. But the J8 is much closer to me, so I'm going to go after him first.
I tried to learn to.
I'm going for the 8B.
Okay.
Watch that 21 over there, 10K.
Fox 1.
Tracking the 7 Delta.
No joy. Fox 2, J8. No. Okay. So here's the next big decision. So the furball is off to my left here. That's how it was developed to that side. And I have to make a decision because I've already fired 2 missiles on this guy. I fired a Sparrow and a Sidewinder, and he is paying quite a good attention to me, even though he's engaged with a friendly off to the right here. So the decision I have to make here is whether I stick with this guy or I turn back in and to rejoin the furball. I picked to stick with this guy because, like I said, he's very dangerous, especially if he's fully spaded. He needs to die now. So I'm going to stick with this guy, and I'm well aware that if I do this, I'm going away from the fur ball. And you'll see the way my camera moves after I start engaging this J8, how I keep my situational awareness to the maximum ability that I can. I'll explain it when we get there. But my wingmen, they're communicating to me what they're doing. And both of them, pick and flank, they are going to pursue their targets that are in the furball and go straight into that. So yeah, that's what you're going to see here. And they both know that situation because I'm telling to them that I'm turning right and I'm sticking on this J8. They know I'm not going to be there with them. So you'll see them communicate a lot more with each other than to me. Okay, yeah.
Fox 1, 7 Delta.
I'm staying
Should be
on
good.
J8.
Clean 7 Delta.
Fox 1 the 2-1.
Oh, I Fox 1 the 2-1 as well. Oh, sorry.
Oh,
One
shit.
The best missile win. Got him. Sorry.
Severe on
You're
J8.
good, you're good. I didn't
I
know.
literally fired it as you were firing it.
Fox 2 the 2-2. That's not going to hit.
Miss on your flank.
Oh. It hit.
Okay. So you see me there take a pretty slow turn back into the fur ball. And you can also see that my camera angle is not only just focused on the J8, it's also looking back into the middle and then back at the J8 and back in the middle. That's the best way to make sure you keep your edge on as you're trying to figure out what's going on in the dogfight. Because a lot of players, especially the inexperienced players, they would just focus on one thing alone. And this is bad practice just because if you keep doing that, you're never going to be able to be flexible in looking around and try to figure out where everything is. You have to force yourself to do it. If it's your first time trying to figure this out, it's gonna be very painful because you will make a ton of mistakes. You'll crash into terrain, you might crash into your friendlies, might crash into the targets you're engaging. But if you don't start, you're never gonna be able to develop that skill. So here, the reason why I'm still looking at that J8 is that even though I sheared his wing off, he still kind of had some maneuverability. He wasn't in a full flat spin. And many times you can just get killed by a dude that you thought was dead because he was kind of looking out of control. But as I said, he's got good missiles. And every now and then, and you probably have seen many clips on YouTube, somebody who's completely out of control can still get a freak missile shot off and kill a guy who's unsuspecting because he, in his mind, thinks that you've already been neutralized as a threat. So I'm keeping my eyes out here on that J8 for that reason alone. But I'm also looking into the fur ball, trying to make sure I don't get jumped on by somebody else. Now, pick and flank, they engage, they get into the fur ball, and I think one of them has to switch targets just because of how the situation develops, and they end up engaging the same guy. Flank gets picked off from somebody else from the mid. I think it was the MiG-21 or that MiG-23 over there, which leaves Pick all alone into that fur ball. So I'm trying to get back into the fur ball to Pick as fast as possible. But that's not going to be I'm not going to be able to do that just because of what's about to happen here.
23 below.
I hit the fucking button.
Damn. Oh my god, I'm getting missiled.
I got two.
Oh my god, yeah.
The whole team's here. I think our team's dead, boys.
Oh, 3 on me. Okay. So the first pass with the 21, I managed to get the radar lock on him, but I had the wrong missile selected, so that was a mistake on my part. I'm pretty sure I could have knocked him out there with the Sparrow, but it didn't happen because I pressed the wrong button. So instead of trying to fully commit to that, which would have resulted in a head-on and I'd be dead, I just merged with him, went low left barrel roll, had the other 23 here come in from my right side. I was already taking evasive maneuvers and he looked kind of slow, so he didn't get a good shot off on me. I actually did not see the 23 low coming down from the hillside there. I thought he was going away, but he wasn't. He was coming right at me. So I get a little bit lucky there. So I merged with him as well. And at this point, yeah, there's no point in trying to turn here, because if we turn, technically you could out dogfight a MiG-23. But when there's two 23s and a 21, that's not going to end well. And Pick, who's coming from the fur ball, he's coming down on my left side here. He's got two guys chasing him as well. And here's the thing, right? So in a situation like this where we're completely outnumbered and the enemy is in a advantageous position. Advantageous meaning that they are behind us looking at our rear. It's time to just run because there's not much we can do here. So the idea with the Phantom, at least, which is something you can do, is to reset the engagement. So you disengage, run, create distance, and then try and re-engage from a more neutral neutral position. So I tell Pick here just to forget about trying to clear these guys off my tail. Just save yourself because he's got 2 guys chasing him. Because I'm looking pretty good here. I can already see the 3 guys that are behind me, and I'm quite confident that I'm going to be able to get away from them here.
I didn't realize how
I'm
hard
trying
I
to
pulled
get
in
there,
the mid right
Merlin.
there.
You
My
gotta-
bad,
No,
boys.
don't worry about it. Just defend yourself.
Pick, you're extending on the guys behind you. They're slow as fuck. Just go, and
Just
try
run,
to
just
help
run.
Merlin.
I'm turning right slightly.
Yep, I'm with you. He waved off left.
So we get really good separation here. So I'm not only aware of the enemies, I'm also aware of where Pick is and how he's moving, and he's communicating to me as well. He acknowledged the command to just disengage. So we've got a really good position here. So even though we were separated for most of the fight for the last like 60 seconds or so, we're now technically back into close proximity where we can support each other. Now he calls out the 21, which is just slightly obscured by this mountain that we're looking at here. I don't see him until another 10 seconds after this pause right here. But yeah, everyone else has pretty much peeled away to mop up the rest of our team, which is in the middle. Because they see us trying to extend the way and they're not interested in trying to chase because they burned a lot of energy and speed trying to turn around in that furball. So, and we managed to keep our energy up and our speed. So, yeah, we got a very good disengagement here. And what happens here is that we manage to isolate the 21 here. And you'll hear Flank call it out that we got a 2v1 on this guy. That's just because everyone else around in the enemy team has just gone away. So this is what I keep on trying to tell people, and this is why my squad flies the way we do, is that if you are able to, if you know enough of the game, and you are able to communicate with each other, you can get a level of coordination which not many people would care to admit that you can do in a game like this. And this is what you see here, because there is no communication or coordination at any team. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in like any kind of MMO game or online multiplayer game of any kind. Really, it's very rare. Very rare occurrence if it does ever occur at all. And in this case here, we're using it to our advantage that we have some semblance of coordination. So once we recognize that the entire enemy team has like disappeared and this 21 is all alone, we're gonna recommit to the fight right here. Okay, I'm turning right.
There's a 2-1 still following, A firm.
Yeah, I see him. I'm gonna merge
I'm
with
starting a
21.
right hand.
You guys have a 2v1 on him now.
He fired, Merlin.
Yeah. Merge. So the maneuvers that I'm doing here, if you were in a pure 1v1 situation, is terrible because I basically put him behind me and looking at me. But because we're not in a 1v1 situation, it is a 2v1 situation. This is how you're supposed to set yourself up. So I hear Pick tell me what he's doing, and I take that into account with what I can see the enemy here doing. And I set myself up in this situation where I can now reverse the situation and either bug out with Pick if the situation turns really bad, or as you're about to see here, set myself up for this guy if he's smart. If he tries to run away, I'll be able to get him, and you'll see that play out right here.
Merged him as well. I'm going straight up and over.
I think he's running.
Oh yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
yeah, I'm getting him behind him.
That
Pick
2-3's
23,
coming
Pick
in.
directly in front of you.
Going guns on 21.
A firm. I do
Flash.
some weird shit to get around that 20.
And yep, there's that. Now, it's usually important to tell people like what it is you're using to shoot at. So usually you'll hear us say Fox 1, Fox 2. Fox 1 meaning that we're firing a semi-active radar-guided missile on somebody. Fox 2 is the IR Sidewinder missile heat seekers. Usually it's good practice to then repeat like which is the target that you're shooting at. So I'd say Fox 2, MiG-21. If my wingman is somewhere near the fight and he sees a MiG-21 somewhere and he hears that, he knows that somebody's firing radar missile. I mean, sorry, a heat seeker missile on that target there. Doesn't always work out because there might be multiple 21s, in which case then nobody knows where things are, but it's always good practice. And in this case here, I'm not entirely sure where Pick is once I was fully engaged with him. I know he was behind me, but I wasn't quite sure which way he was turning to re-engage, and I was afraid that he was already cutting into behind me and had stayed on this 21. So I say I'm going guns on 21 so that he knows that I'm going to close the distance and shoot him. But it wasn't necessary here because Pick went out the other way to try to evade the 21's previous attack, and he gets jumped by 23. So I'm looking back here, and he tells me that he sees the 23. What he's seeing is this dude that's closer to me at 4 clicks, the Paolo O2 guy, GKB1. Yeah, he doesn't see that other 23 that's right on top of him. So I call out there's 2 guys here, but it's a little bit too little too late. And he gets jumped by that 23. He gets a radar missile. So yeah, there's that. Not much you can do here because you could always say in hindsight, 2020 hindsight, like what we should have said, what we could have done. But when you're in a fast-paced dogfight like this, it just happens. And either you depend on your own skill and your ability to understand what's going on, or you just get smoked, which is what happens here for Pick. Now, this leaves me in a very, very bad situation, but I'll run the clip a little longer here.
3.
Yeah, there's
Great
2 of
shot,
them now
Merlin.
on you.
I got another
2-3's coming in
23.
behind you.
Missile near.
Oh my god, it was an R24.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's that. Pick's gone, and I'm not entirely sure how many people are left, but considering that I see 0 blue, and there's an A5 off to the left there, which I saw, which means there's 4 guys right here that I can see. There's 1 guy off to the right there. Low riders, 10 clicks out. And this 23 is right on me. 1 click closing, fast as hell. So I'm not going to take the hit on with this 23. That's why you see me going low and at like a 30-degree angle off to the 23. This means that it's a really high angle deflection shot for him, so I make it really hard for him to hit me. And I'm not interested in trying to get a hit-on attack, either with guns or a missile. It's too close, too fast. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to break down low right and then hit into that valley, which the camera right now is pointing at in the middle here. And now we're in a 1 versus many situation. So for someone like me, right, if you watch other like really good pilots, we're talking like Define or Bad Karma. There was another dude called Adam the Engine Nerd. He used to make a lot of technical videos for War Thunder. People who watch Mighty Jingles, he used to do a lot of War Thunder replay showcases of people, in situations like this that I'm about to get into, where they are able to overcome the odds. How you actually clutch a game, I honestly can't really tell you. There's no textbook answer. And quite frankly, considering the number of people that have actually done it, and then of course like uploaded it to YouTube, is really, really low. It's extremely rare. I just happen to be somebody that has done this many times. Because I've been playing the game for almost 10 years. So I've been in this situation many times. We're talking hundreds of games, maybe even thousands at this point. And of those games, you do lose the majority of them because you're outnumbered 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 1. But the advantage of being put into that position so many times is that you get the opportunity to learn something. And what has happened over the last 10 years is that I figured out every now and then if the cards are just in the right position to win the situation, whether it be 5 on 1, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So I am not panicking at all at this point. What I'm just trying to figure out now is how best to approach the situation. So the first thing here is to merge with this 23, go into that valley, and then reassess the situation. And then I'll explain the next part to how to clutch the game.
You were a little too slow. You almost had no
I was
chance.
too slow. Yep, I was too slow. I knew the speed. I should have trip tapped it. My bad, dude.
Well,
Okay,
you're
okay.
tapping it no matter how much.
So I've got another 21 coming at me. He's closer. He's coming right at me. I'm gonna try and get a lock on him. I'm gonna fail the lock on the 21 just because I'm too low. He's too low. I'm not gonna be able to make that shot. Now the biggest mistake most people will make here is that when you're in massive outnumbered situation. Everyone thinks to themselves, I have to defend myself because if I don't, I'm going to die. This is where the counterintuitive part is that when you're in an outnumbered situation, you need to be more aggressive than the enemy. That is how you survive. It doesn't make any sense, but it's just how it is. That is how it works. It's not. It doesn't only just work in this game. It works in like a lot of other games as well. In an outnumbered situation, you need to be more aggressive. It doesn't mean that you need to give up fully on your defense, because that will just get you killed. But you can't have your mindset to be just thinking that, oh, I have to defend myself because there's like 5 guys coming after me. In my mind, what I'm thinking is like, okay, there's 5 guys that's coming after me. I need to be a little bit cautious. I need to be very, very precise with my defensive maneuvers. But at the forefront of it all, I'm trying to figure out how do I start deleting people so that I can get it down to a manageable situation. And you have to do this very early on, because if you let the situation develop from a fully defensive mindset, the enemy will be able to just dogpile you. It's at this point where the enemy thinks they have a massive advantage, they're all coming in at you, they themselves are not thinking defense. This is when they're most vulnerable. So this is the point where you need to just go all in, well, not all in, but take the initiative and be aggressive to try and knock out people. So here, what you're going to see me do is that I'm going to be switching between this 21 and this 23 up there, and you're actually going to see me do 2 things at once. I'm actually going to relock the 23 and fire a sparrow without a full lock. I do that because there's no time to get the full lock in. We're really close. Lots of people are behind me. If the shot doesn't make it, then too bad. It's just a little bit of a gamble that I have to do. Then at the same time, you're going to see me do a right rudder deflection kick to avoid the 21's bullets as we get into the merge here.
How many times you tapped it wouldn't have mattered. That missile was coming straight through, buddy.
Come on, give it a lock.
Oh my
Holy
fucking god!
fucking shit! That was insane!
So there's that. Once I've merged with 21, I don't really have to pay too much attention because it's going to take him some time to turn around. The 23 in front, he got blasted. He's gone. So now I look back and I see the 23 ML from the very beginning. He's now right on me. And at this point, it's the same thing, right? You do have to be cautious with your defensive maneuvers, because if you make a mistake, you're going to die, because there's like 4 guys here. But at the same time, I'm thinking like, how am I going to delete one of these guys out of here? And this is where the next maneuver comes into play. So I'll just run the clip and then continue after that.
ML point
The
8.
Lazur is
0.6.
0.4.
Yeah, he's tracking. Oh! What the fuck am I watching, Merlin? Oh no!
So that's what's called a reversal. I've done it many times, so you can tell I've done it many times because usually the more inexperienced pilots, they would still be using their mouse control to control the aircraft. In this case here, it's pretty much full on my keyboard controls, because my camera has already detached the controls from my mouse to the aircraft. I'm flying purely with my keyboard on the left hand. And I'm keeping track because there were 2 guys there in that rolling scissors that we were doing there. So I had to make sure that the 21 didn't get guns on me, as well as the 23. And once the 23 passes me on the left side, I reverse the roll, and that allows me to get the guns on him to blow him out of the sky. So once that happens, the 21 breaks off because he's in the rolling scissors with me. He sees the reversal, he breaks off slightly, so I get some breathing room here. But right now, there's no point in me trying to continue either the reversal or the commit a turn into the dogfight, because there are no more friendlies. I've burned a lot of speed and a lot of energy in this whole fight here. It's time to try disengage. The same idea that we had at the very beginning of the match when we were at the very start of the furball, with me and Pick trying to disengage. That's the idea here. Now, we have 2 main options available to us. It's either disengage here and then try reset the fight, or we can try bug out to the airfield and try see if we can bait some of them into the anti-air defenses. Now, The problem here with trying to camp the airfield is that we are low on tickets. So in the long run, that is not going to be viable. In the short term, that is something that I'm going to try and exploit. You can always bait people into it. There will always be willing idiots that will fly into the SAM for you, no problem. And I'm going to need that. I'm going to bet on that, that these guys aren't particularly bright and they want the kill to get RP, and bait them into the missile battery. And that will further even the odds here for me to then end the game. We got time because this is only like what 3-4 minutes in the match. A match lasts like 20-25 minutes, something like that. So we got time, and the amount of tickets that our team has lost, it isn't that significant. If the ticket situation were a little bit worse than it is now, then that would affect my decision in the next 3 minutes or so, but it doesn't develop in that way. So yeah, what I'm going to do here is just I'm going to run out to the valley to the left here. And it's not going to be easy because these three guys are going to be right on top of me. So I'll just roll the clip here.
Oh,
baby! Get fucked!
embarrassing! That's embarrassing! That guy's mad.
The A5 is staying in behind.
Missile!
Missile out behind.
Missile!
Another missile.
Nice. Way too fast.
So you can see with that 23, the way that he was maneuvering, the way that he rolled, and of course the closure rate between him and me. He was way too fast. He was not going to be able to keep up with the turn if I break off to the right here, which is what I'm going to do. But at the same time, I'm trying to assess here, like, what is going on. So that 23 is technically the most dangerous, although I don't think he is. He has his missile complement left this late into the game, but he can't always bet on that. I got the 21 and the A5. In terms of airframes, the 21 is definitely the second biggest threat here. A5, not too much, but he does have 2 magics. He probably has already expended them, but we don't know that. So it is things that we need to think about. But as you'll see in the next 60 seconds, you'll see me pan the camera to the right, even though there's nothing there. That is because I know that 21 is going to try to cut me off the airfield. You can see the maneuvers he's about to take here.
Oh yeah, he got his wings
Nice
folded
roll.
and everything.
Do I have anybody left? Nope. Okay.
You're a funny guy.
No.
Who's left? Who's left on the enemy team?
Four.
Okay, so there's
all the people
three
shooting you.
There's the 3 that are shooting at you, and then I don't know where the 4th one is. 23, A5, 21. I don't know who last is.
I need to kill the 23. He's the most dangerous.
Yep. Followed by the 21, followed by the A5, correct? In terms of
The A5's
Yeah,
gonna
pretty
have
much.
fucking magic.
Yeah, A5's
Oh, no, that's
got
not-
magics. They're both dangerous at this point. Okay. So this is the good thing about having, teammates, is that you can use them to get information. So the way you can get more information in a situation like this is that if you need to identify what enemy aircraft are still on the enemy team, you can check the battle logs. So long as they have shot an enemy aircraft or ground unit or some AI unit, the battle log will record what the kill is because the kill feed is recorded even in the game. And you can access that through the in-game leaderboard as the game is progressing. So you can have your squad mates do that to gather information for you in case you don't know, you can't recall, because when dogfights happen really fast and really quickly, you can't keep track of everybody. So you can do that, try to figure out what it is the enemy has. The other thing you can always try to check out is, that's mainly the big thing. But the other thing squad mates can do is they can always like backseat for you, so they can keep a lookout from their spectator view if anyone's firing more missiles or if somebody else pops up from an odd angle. So yeah, you got that going on for you. But right now I'm ditching into this valley here and heading back to the airfield, trying to bait these guys into the SAM. When you want to try to cut me off.
Mm-hmm.
To my right.
Yes. He's right
There
here.
he is.
One click.
So yeah, there, 21 from the very beginning. He took a long route around, and he's right on top of us. And I knew that I keep that in the back of my mind as we're trying to evade the 23 and the A5 here. But we are also right on top of the airfield, so all I need to do now is just survive.
Missiles
Missile.
off both.
2 missiles.
Great work. Missile.
Why'd the Mutt 21 just go out flaring? Oh, because he almost got friendly fucking missiled.
No, it's not a friendly missile.
He did.
So now situation here is the 23, which was the biggest threat. He smoked. 21 is the smarter of the whole group here. He's going to run, which leaves just the A5. And yeah, might as well just knock him out now because he's all isolated. And then reevaluate the situation. Okay, so at this point, we've dealt with the A5, 21's running. As I said, we can't afford to camp the airfield because they have the ticket lead. And they have plenty of time to go hit ground at this point in the game. So what I'm going to do here is, since I'm already next to the airfield and I've expended almost half of my missile complement, I'm going to land, rearm, refuel, and then go back out. At this point, there's 2 guys left. And we know one of them's a 21. The other guy, I think, has just been bombing, so we don't quite know what he is. But we figure it out later once we get in, and the enemy knows this. Even though they have a numerical advantage, it's been diminished. It's gone from like 6-1 to 2-1, and they've wised up to that. So you're gonna see both of them actually try to win the game by bleeding the tickets, which is what their advantage is at this point. So it's up to me to go out there and then stop them. I can't afford to just play passive. So this whole game has just been me being fully aggressive as possible whenever the opportunity arises. And yeah, once we get to the end of the match, it's a little bit anticlimactic. One of the guys crashes. That's something else that I should mention regarding how to play long end game situations like this, is that most people don't actually know how to land their aircraft. And a lot of people also don't quite know how to strafe ground targets either. You will find a lot of people kill themselves either trying to hit ground targets at the end of the game or trying to land at the airfield to rearm, because most people don't last this long in a dogfight. I mean, in a war thunder match. Sorry, war thunder matches very rarely go this long. So once someone like me, who has played the game for this long and have been in this exact situation this many times, you have an advantage. Just by existing this long into the game, people will just kill themselves. It is hard truth for a lot of people to accept, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, then one of the guy crashes on landing. The other guy is trying to base bomb and get some more points at the very end, and just ignores me, takes a missile shot, and yeah, that's the end of the game. So yeah, hopefully this was helpful to the one guy who asked for it. And if anybody else found this helpful, like and subscribe, and I'll do more.